everybody, as you may be aware, I fitted the XJ6 with a Black Widow exhaust system. It was part of the Project Divi series. Black Widow actually supplied me that exhaust to give them a review and make the videos that I did. But I fancy a change, and when I was sent that kit, I was sent another part, which would allow me to move the exhaust. And you might say, is that a big pipe in your trousers? Are you just pleased to see me? Well, actually, as you can see here, this is basically a link pipe which allows you to move the exhaust from the underslung position to being mounted up here more traditionally. I'd just be interested to see how it looks like that and also how it sounds like that. And to that end, I'm going to get the sound of it with it currently like this, and then again with the pipe on. But I'm going to keep the recording device at the same settings in the same place, so nothing changes but the exhaust. And then we can see if it's different. So here is the test. I wonder if it will sound any different. For this we should just need a socket and a couple of spanners maybe. I pre-sprayed these with WD-40 in the hope that the clamps would loosen easily. And it appears to have worked. One of the other advantages if I move this is I have the option of refitting my centre stand, because to fit this as an underslung exhaust you have to fit it on the centre stand bracket, which means removing the centre stand. And actually centre stands are pretty useful, although it is very heavy. Okay, that bolt's getting shortened. Should this go back on? It's way too long, it took forever to get that off. Right, that should then come off. And it does. There we go. I'll give that a bit of a clean before it goes on, because obviously it's been hidden away all this time. This is a 200ml can. It is very loud. You also need to clean up this pipe. And I know what you're all thinking. Start it with the exhaust off. Well, I will, for science. Well, that worked when I told my neighbours why I was being so noisy. It was science! There we go. Yeah, that's antisocial as hell. I think Black Widow should sell these as kits. I'm not entirely sure, but basically it's an extra strap, the pipe, and you've got this little adapter which basically allows you to bolt the can on up here. And it appears it goes on this way, so all I need to do is remove this pin and replace it with that bolt. Should have brought pliers out with me because I have a split pin to remove here. Come on. One pin. Let's take this pin out. Slide this bolt in. There's this spacer. This. The washer. And a nut. I'm not going to tighten that up fully yet, because I need to get everything in line first. It's very close here, but I think that's actually the right position of where it's supposed to be. Finally. Well, there we go. That's what it looks like with the side mount option. There was a fair amount of faffing that I cut out there because it was a bit boring, really. But it was just trying to get the can and the pipe in the right orientation twist-wise. Looking in the pictures didn't help too much because it didn't seem to quite match up. But I've got it in a place where it fits best. It's not going to hit anything. The gap between the swing arm and this pipe is quite close. It's about 10mm. But I've lifted the back of the bike up as much as I can, and it doesn't get close. Looks-wise, I don't know. It's too different to the way it was before. I think most people are going to say, no, it looked better the way it was before. But, question is, what does it sound like? It sounds different. It's like a different tonal quality. Let's listen to before. Okay, well, it'll be interesting to see on the video if there is actually a difference there. I think I'm going to have to go for a little ride around, see what it sounds like riding it. Okay, riding up here, it's definitely got a different quality to the sound, but I need to give it some beans. It seems quieter to me because it's obviously facing away, and normally I have it firing out sideways into that wall. I can't put my finger on what the difference is other than that though, but it's definitely got a different quality to the tone. I kind of like it though. I think it's no better, no worse, it's just slightly different. It might be slightly smoother, a little less grrr-y, because it's a slightly longer pipe. I mean, it's slightly more of a tuned note. Oh, it does sound good though. So there you go, that's kind of the conclusion. I think the most of the sound difference comes from the fact that instead of being fired sideways out of the bike, so if you go along a wall or something, it reflects back in your ear, or it reflects off the side of cars. With this, it's just shooting straight backwards, so you're, as the rider, are hearing less of it. And I also think the slightly longer pipe is tuning it just to smooth it out a little bit, as in, I'm not talking about tuning of the engine or anything like that, I'm talking about tuning of just the sound. It's a bit of a smoother note. I'm going to leave it for a few days like this, see what I think of it, but I think I'm almost definitely going to move it back to being underslung. It'll give me opportunity to clean up the bottom of the exhaust a bit more. I will quickly say here, because you know I've had my Black Widow system now for, what is it, 2 or nearly 3 years, I'm not sure exactly, I'll put the date that I first fitted it. I have not looked after this thing. I'm not one of these people that, you know, cleans it every weekend. I let it get discoloured. I've used Harpic on it. Oh, I've used Harpic on it. I've let it sit covered in mud for the entire winter, and it's still absolutely fine. There's no pitting or rusting or anything like that. It all fits perfectly still. The can sounds fine still, which is a surprise because I would have thought most of the, you know, the packing in it would have been completely destroyed by now. I know I said earlier in the video that with this side mount you can fit the centre stand. I think you can. It looks like you can. At first I was like, oh, I might be wrong about that because it seems right in the way, but then when you think about the shape of a centre stand, I think it will go either side. I'd actually have to... For real? Yeah, I'd actually have to offer it up to see. I can't decide, but as I say, I do think I'm probably going to end up putting it back to the underslung because it's just got that sleeker look that kind of fits in with this bike a bit better, I think. It's a bit strange the way it's out completely straight with the swing arm. Anyway, I hope you found this video interesting. I found it interesting, and it was well, for me it was a free mod. I know if you have one of these kits you have to buy that link pipe, but as I say, I'm sure it's something Black Widows sell. If you want your centre stand back, double check that it does allow you to do that, but if you want it back, that is always an option. See, when you get the walls, it sounds different. I should give thanks to Black Widow for this video because this is a part they supplied a long time ago and I've had just sat around when they supplied me the exhaust for the review. I still stand by what I said in the review. It's a great system. It saves you quite a lot of weight. As I've said, the build quality seems absolutely fine, disparaging all the things I've heard. Yeah, it's a lot cheaper than some other exhausts, and yeah, okay, maybe it's not as plush looking in places like the mid. That link pipe, it's got a couple of welds in it. It's not the sleekest looking thing, but they're cheaper. They're a lot cheaper. When I was looking for an exhaust for this bike when I first got it, and I was doing the Project Divi series, you might want to check that out. This video will be part of it. The options available to me were not very many, because the stand exhaust on this bike has got a catalytic converter in it, unless you chop it off and blah blah blah. It was easier to go for a full system. Well, Leo Vince, they make one that's like £900 or something, and there's another company that make one that's about the same money. And the carbon fibre version from Black Widow is carbon fibre and stainless steel, and people say, oh, it's not very good stainless steel. It's not rusted, it's been outside, it polishes up nicely. I mean, what more can I say? It's about half that cost. It's only about £400 for the system, something like that. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. You never know, I might have some more stuff in the future you'll enjoy. Leave a like if you did enjoy it. And a huge thanks to my Patreon supporters who rolled up your screen earlier on. Absolutely fantastic support from you people, thank you. If any of you can help me, please do. I only have one tier, and it is $1 a month. That's about 77p. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye bye. If you enjoyed this video and the other content on the channel, please consider following the links in the description to show your support.